makeup on.
Great to be with you today. Sharon Caddy, Kate Wheeler, What She Said, and joining us in studio, two of our funny buds. You know what? They're looking at themselves. We have an iPad in here. And they're
for our
laughing at
YouTube channel. You're laughing at yourself.
Yeah, we get to stare at our own faces.
Well, that's because I put up the social media clip of you explaining what a slut was last time you were
was
here.
very powerful.
I couldn't miss the video this time.
No kidding.
It's true. You never know.
Me and Meg never know what we're going to hear, but great to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you two ladies as well.
So, what's on the agenda? Understand you tried to chat with Jimmy Fallon, huh?
Jimmy, I know you're listening, and yes, we
'Cause
need
he
to
always
speak to you.
does.
Yeah, he's a huge fan.
Yeah.
Lee's tracking him down, and she's pretty persistent, so who knows? Maybe we'll get him. And then our best friend, Jessie. We're really close with Jessie now. We saw her at the morning show this morning. Now she's here following us to Sirius Radio on What She Said.
She's stalking you?
She's adorable. And when we saw her over at Global, we introduced ourselves, met her, and that was so sweet. And then we're driving over listening to you guys, and she was on. And we're like, what a small world.
Now, hang on. She said, we went over and introduced ourselves. Now, how did Jessie describe it off air? She said, they just came at me. They just swarmed at me.
Yeah, that's how we consider an introduction.
Yeah, I'm going with her theory of what happened rather than your nice, polite meeting.
Hey!
It's true. She's so cute, though. And
isn't she?
And she changed to come over here, so then instantly we feel bad because we're in our same clothes that we've been wearing since this morning.
That was such a cute little shorts outfit.
Yeah.
I know that, and what she had on earlier was very cute as well. Yeah.
I don't change between.
No.
Although I don't have many gigs to go between these days, so I don't need to change. You're lucky I get dressed at all. Let's face it.
That's how I feel.
We're never on the YouTube.
No.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, because we're smart.
Yeah.
It's all about our guests.
Oh, right.
It's all about our guests.
That's so generous. I know. At least we know now we'll put makeup on when we come, and we'll just don't show up in our Lulus, right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's actually very true. No, today Meg and I were thinking about asking each other some questions, and we would like to open those questions up to you as well.
Oh.
Okay.
Because we feel that some of the questions are quite good.
Uh-huh.
So,
I'm glad you think so.
yeah. We'll see. We're going to really test my interviewing skills.
Okay.
But, Meg, these questions are for you. Okay. So, number one, what chore do you hate doing the most? My least favorite chore would be a toss-up between cleaning my blinds in the house, the individual blinds, which get really nasty because I live in an area where there's construction, or bathrooms. I think living with men or boys is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do when you are the ones cleaning the bathroom.
Ooh.
Okay.
I say bathrooms, but because of the teenage girls.
Really?
Nasty.
It is. It's terrible. It's terrible. Kate, what about you?
My least favorite chore. I think ironing.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you, I say outsource that to the dry cleaner.
I was going to say, you iron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I do iron.
I steam.
But steaming doesn't give me that nice crisp, I even iron the pillowcases.
That's our mom. She irons the sheets. And so the top, when she folds over, it's crisp. It's a lot of pressure on a daughter. I don't know that I want to iron sheets, but I remember my mom ironing the sheets.
And tea towels.
My mom got one. Well, I always iron the sheets. You've got to iron the tea
No,
towels.
you don't.
But my mom got a press. She got one of those big presses that she puts down. She has a table in the laundry room, and she just runs it through on a press. It's very easy.
Wow.
I think I could go for the press. But, I would like to say that I ironed all my sheets and my duvet covers. No, just the pillowcase where my head is touching. Ironing, unless sometimes I take the ironing board up and stick it in front of the TV and just sit there and do
That's the only way.
a load of ironing.
Okay.
Yep.
My next question, Meg, is what celebrity do you get mistaken for? I get mistaken for athletes. Tennis stars, I've been mistaken for Lindsay Davenport, I believe her name is, multiple times. People will say that to me. Or Cassie Campbell, I get a lot, the hockey player. Always athletes.
Wow.
Okay.
And you?
Debbie Mazar, the American actress that was in Goodfellas. Entourage. She was on Entourage, yeah. I think it's because I swear, which I don't do on the radio, naturally. But, in the privacy of my own home, sometimes I'll say a curse word or two. And my brother especially says that. But the biggest problem that I think that we have with this question and why we're highlighting it is our sister-in-law will say that she looks like Penelope Cruz. And we'll continually say to her, my sister-in-law, by the way, is beautiful, has a gorgeous body. But the problem is that you're actually expecting to see Penelope Cruz and she doesn't look like that. So I'm like, set the bar low. Don't, you don't ever want to say that because it's just disappointment.
Yeah, you don't want to claim to be someone who's crazy beautiful, and then people meet you, and then they're going to be judging you on that.
On what you think. I don't know. Do you ever get mistaken for anyone?
No, not so much anymore.
When I had, well, there is that. When I had short hair, Sheena Easton, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
People used to ask me for, in fact, there are people out there with autographs that are not actually written by Sheena Easton, but I was very nice about it. But yeah, when I had short cropped hair all the time.
You know,
that's amazing.
When people stop me and ask if I'm Hulk Hogan, I get a little offended. I do look better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, if you could have the answer to any question besides what is the meaning of life, what is that question?
I like this question. Instantly, I think I would want to know what happens after you die. Really know what happens. Like, get to witness it all.
I'd want the answer come back and tell about it?
And then let everyone else know. Okay. I think that's what comes to mind first.
Okay, Kate?
That's a difficult one.
Wow.
Well, you said, what if I couldn't answer what is the meaning of life? Well, then my next go-to topic is, where is the fountain of youth?
I like it.
Mine is, what are men thinking?
Oh, come on. We have a weekly segment on that. We haven't figured it out yet.
That's why we got the segment.
Not much, is that right? Just kidding, fellas.
Just joking.
No, I saw something. I want to interrupt your questions because I saw something and I thought, it had to come from you. It was on social media, but it didn't come from you. But I think you're going to love it. Now, picture this, if you will. A short video on Facebook, and the camera is pointing up at a ceiling fan, the ceiling fans with the lights underneath it?
Yep.
Okay? The caption says, "Honey, you only had one thing to do." And the video plays, and the light bulbs spin round, and the fan blades stay still.
Yeah. Yeah. That's classic.
I thought this has to be in a Dear Husband column somewhere because, I mean, really, is that not...
That's funny.
I could just see the woman posting this. You had one thing to do. The lights. Whoosh!
Yep. It's funny because my husband considers himself a little bit of an electrician, so he was putting new lights in our kitchen, and they were on 2 separate light switches. Sure enough, those light switches became one started to control both lights, and I was like, what have you done here? Or is this safe? Maybe we should cut out all this electrician activity and get a real person to come in. We did. We got a real electrician to come in because I don't know what my husband did, but yeah, he had one thing to do. And what he did is turn that into one light switch that worked.
I can wrap all this together because you know how you said the bathrooms with the men in house was the worst thing ever, and then we talked about electricians, and then we talked about fans. My smart contractor said, when you have kids in the house, you automatically make the light switch that turns on the bathroom light connect to the fan. So the fan goes on automatically for aromas and steam, and then it's never, did you remember to turn on the fan? It just turns on and off automatically.
That's a good idea. Nice. I like it.
It is. Anyway, back to your next, that's my tip of the day. Your next question. You have questions.
Meg, my last question for you is, let me get it in my note here. What was the last TV, movie, or book that made you cry? I mean, you cry all the time.
That's why I don't know in particular because I tear up at anything. I'll remember I was watching this National Geographic show and the humpback whale was trying to protect her baby calf from the orcas, and that sent me over the edge. So I can really go. I can open her up. My dad used to get mad at me. We'd be having these debates around the table, and I would get really worked up about my point. And he was like, if you want anyone to take you seriously, you have to stop crying. I try, but I get emotional.
Yeah, even now I can see your tears welling up in your eyes.
Really?
No.
Did you get emotional? You must have been brutal when you were pregnant.
Terrible. Terrible. That took it to a whole new level, which I mean, it was actually terrible. Thankfully, I'm no longer pregnant for that reason.
Just because you couldn't handle him. I used to cry at the, there's a commercial.
I was going to say, I cried at commercials.
Canada Post commercials and things like that when the little boy... the dog brings the lead in and drops the lead in front of the little boy that's watching TV, and then he packs up his lead, his bowl, and everything in his suitcase and walks out the door with the suitcase in his mouth because everyone's ignoring the poor little dog. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
Yeah, it was irrational. It wasn't good. But luckily, I've got myself together a bit more. But still, I cry. I tear up.
Yeah, you do.
What about you? What's your last book, movie, crying fest?
Sometimes late at night, I'm reading Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom, and I'll get overcome with how much hardship he faced in his life. And maybe I'll think about my day and be like, you know, I'll get embarrassed that I was upset that the laundry was in the basement. I had to carry it up the stairs. I'm like, really? Like, you know?
I'm crying about humpback whales, and you're talking about that. That's good.
Well, sorry. I mean, it's not my fault. I'm smarter than you. Sorry.
or at least come across as smarter than you.
I'm name dropping. I've been reading this book for like 8 years.
Yeah. And late at night for Leigh is like 8:30. So I don't know what I mean. The kids are asleep. She tries to stay awake, and then she passes out.
Well, you're on social media. You blog. You have what I have noticed when they're saying you have to time your tweets, you have to time everything, is women are. If I want to get an audience of women, which I'm trying to do, I start putting out tweets and things on Facebook between 5:30 and 8:30 in the morning, and then between 10 and 1 at night. Seems to be when women are most active on social media, before the kids get up and after, if they're still awake, after everybody else is asleep.
No, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me, especially with how my day goes. That's exactly when I would be, quote unquote, available. You know? Okay,
let me just throw a few. I'm just going to throw like one or two at you, Leigh, so we can know a few things about you. Because this one, I saw this question and I really liked it. What story does your family always tell about you?
When you guys tell it that I got kicked out at 18, but really I walked out. Yeah. The second story is when my class trip, it was an exchange program to Costa Rica, and they wouldn't let me come home, so I took matters into my own hands and got myself home.
That's right. I remember when you got kicked out. That was I was traumatized. I was young. I was like, Leigh, what's going on? She was having a big fight with my parents. And then she wasn't kicked out, though. She ran away. And then with a bag of cookies.
And you need those cookies.
Yeah. And then it's right. When Leigh was in Costa Rica trying to change the world, my dad would say, and you got yourself out of there against teacher's orders.
Yeah.
That is. We do tell those two. That's good. That's good.
You flew home from Costa Rica all by yourself?
They wouldn't give me my ticket back. So I went, this was back, 20 years ago when you could go get a replacement ticket without having to have like a ton of ID. Okay. So I did that.
We have a caller on the line.
Oh,
for you.
Yay.
Mark?
Oh. Mark, well listen, can we ask go ahead. I would like to ask, because we're sort of talking about ourselves here, let's turn it on the listeners. What is going on in your hood? What is happening in your own home?
We sent this out to our readers yesterday too. We were saying, okay, what on the home front, in the hood, what is going on with you?
No problem, Mark. Thanks for calling in.
No problem. Yeah, my wife's a big fan of the blog, so I thought I'd call in. I've got sisters, and I've got a young family, and I find at times they're really involving themselves a little bit too much with and not letting my wife take the reins sometimes in our parenting. They're kind of trying to enforce the way they raise their kids on her, and I just think it's sometimes difficult for her because she's a little bit shyer than them.
Okay.
Like
okay, so she's feeling sort of alienated or bullied into parenting the way that her sister-in-law's parent.
Exactly.
Okay.
My sisters I know they come from a good place, but I think sometimes they're a little bit over-involved in it.
Okay. Now, are you... Okay, let me ask you something. Are you around a lot? Like, can you kind of band together with her or sort of gently massage to your sisters? Like... I actually think, Mark, this squarely rests on you. You're the key. You must talk to your sisters without her being around and just be level with them and be honest and be like, look, you got to cut this business out. I was going to swear, but I'm not allowed. So you just have to level with your sisters and say, stand down, back off. Yeah, then, I would just say, no, actually, I would say then to her, no, they asked me if something was wrong with you or what's up. You seem a bit down and out. And say, actually, I said to them that you were feeling a little bit alienated.
Honesty and openness is the best policy, no matter what.
There you go. Thanks for calling in, Mark.
No, listen, my wife loves the blog, and I was like, this can't be that funny, but I'd rather be talking.
Do you see yourself in Dear Husband there at all, do you? Oh, a shot. Come on, woman, let's go.
Oh, I love that. Girls that can be funny. Nice.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers.
That was where we were going with this, though.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, hey, you can call in anytime.
You can.
That's right.
And we have phone numbers and everything.
We do.
But we're gonna come back after the break, and we will talk more with Leigh and Meg. We'll give you all the phone numbers to get set to call in, and you can talk to them directly. And they want to find out what's going on in your hood. And apparently already one problem solved. Although you may have created a whole lot more with that baby. Let me tell you. We'll be right back here at What She Said. Stay with us.
We'll start getting all these nasty comments on the blog. That's good. That's good. Oh, you can wear it next.
Sorry,
I love that song.
Like this one.
It's a great song.
Turn off the iPad.